Well, Shannon, it is great to see you. Welcome back to Us Weekly.
Thank you.
How are you feeling about this season? You know, so many people have been saying this is must-watch TV. It's going to be great. I mean, I watched the first episode. It is great. But it's got to be a lot different for you because this is your real life, and it was a very hard time in your life.
Yeah, it was, and it is good. And if I were a viewer, I would want to see what happens with me too. But it was. We did an event, and every cast member had to say one word to describe the season, and I was last, and I said difficult.
Yeah.
So it was, but I got through it, and that only makes me feel stronger.
Sure, you've been doing this for so many years, but going into this season, so many things had happened in your life prior to cameras starting to roll. Yeah. What was kind of your mindset going in? Was there ever a thought where you're like, maybe I'll sit this one out?
Oh, there absolutely there was, but I couldn't do that. So I went to BravoCon 1 month after the DUI, and to me that was so important because I wanted to take accountability and address publicly the horrible decision that I'd made, and and be completely transparent and open about it. So I knew I had to. I didn't want to go right away and hide.
Sure.
So I knew I had to do it, and I didn't know going in really if I had any support. I was walking in blind.
Sure. And did you feel the support when you were there?
I did eventually. Yes, I do. I felt support, and I think that it's going to be an interesting dynamic to see who supports me and who doesn't.
Was it shocking to you who came through and who didn't?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was surprising that who came through that you weren't expecting? Because I know you said you kept your circle very close after this time.
And my circle still is very close.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's very tight, and I don't know. I just feel more comfortable that way, and I guess I'll say, I mean, it's very public. Tamra, my friend, who has no idea what I'm approaching the 1 year mark of the DUI, and she has no idea what I've done in the last year. And so I've done a lot, and I still have more to do.
Sure.
I mean, I work with my therapist, and I have a psychiatrist, and that I from the program that I went to for 30 days, and I feel as though I'm growing. I'm headed down a healthier path, and I'm trying to create any type of positive that I can out of a horrible situation.
You said everything happens for a reason. What meaning did you find in all of this for yourself?
Well, I'll tell you, like a lot of people say, why didn't you go to rehab? Because I was offered a lot of free stays, but I chose the place where I went because and I openly admit, often I used alcohol as a coping mechanism many times in my life when there were things going on, and I was doing that, and you can see it in just my face and at the reunion last year, and the DUI happened, right after that. My kids were leaving. It was just a lot of stuff going on. Never an excuse for any of it, but I just. For me, I don't even know. I'm all over the place, so I don't even. What was the original to take me back?
What the
meaning is? Yeah, and I mean, look, I don't want to take what happened to me lightly at all, and say like, well, God had a plan, because I could have hurt someone, and if I would have hurt Archie, who by the way was checked out and fine, and I wasn't fake walking him after the DUI either. I was going back to take accountability, but I don't know how I would have handled it had I hurt somebody. So I'm so incredibly grateful for that. But I made a horrible choice very late in my life, and I considered myself a better example than that. And so I've got to make changes, and it has forced me to look at my life. And as I look at it right now, I have a lot of work to do. It's probably lifelong, but I feel good about myself, and I don't want to be in a relationship, which is crazy.
Really? Okay.
Because that's me. I'm like, if I'm not in a relationship, that's my purpose, and I have zero desire to. I want to have a relationship with myself.
Yeah. And do you feel like you're having a good relationship
Absolutely.
with yourself now?
Absolutely. Yeah. I am. There's guilt and there's shame, and especially when it comes to my children, I feel so horrible and guilty that I set such a poor example for them. And all I can do is try and move forward.
That scene with them was really hard to watch when you were,
Well, I didn't want to cry either, you know, but I think in that moment, because I'm like, I'm not going to cry this season, I'm going to be strong. But I think in that moment, like, I people will understand that. And I do cry a lot this season, darn it, because I get emotional because John is suing me. And it was like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
And I offered to pay him in full, even, because my attorney's fees will be larger. And he said no. So it's like, what agenda is out there now?
Do you feel like he's trying to punish you in certain ways?
I know that John wants his name cleared because it was so focused on that
last season.
Yeah. And so I think that I did whatever I said at the reunion. I said whatever I say, it's not going to be good enough,
right?
Because it's not coming out of your mouth, and you're not seeing results. So I really don't know what his agenda is, because if it was money, you would have accepted my offer of payment in full.
Right. Did you feel relieved in a way that he was out of your life? How did you feel after that conversation?
At that point, John and I broke up. John broke up with me after 3.5 years. It was quite public.
Right.
And for 6 months, he dated someone, I dated someone. But we did reconnect.
Yes,
and neither of us admitted it, because I think we both knew deep down it was never going to work.
Yeah.
But we did care about each other. And so for another 6 months, we were back together, acting like we were boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I don't know. I'm glad that we're not together anymore. I am glad that we're, and maybe something like this had to happen in order for me to break ties. I think I say that in the first episode.
Yeah, no, you do. Yeah.
So I wasn't sad, but I was at that point of, what is this relationship? In fact, the day before the DUI, the day of the DUI, I had been with Jeff Lewis and Stewart at the time out to dinner the night before, and he said, this relationship's got it. Like, you got to
stop.
cut the ties. And I said, no, I know. And then I got a DUI the next night. So, that was my trajectory. It was to, that it just wasn't healthy. So.
But out of all the women he had to be with after that, it had to be Alexis. And he knew what your relationship was like with her, John. How did, when you first heard that news?
When I was in the middle of my lawsuit, which was really stressful for me, we were together.
Yeah.
And so he knew that.
Right.
And, when I told him about the case, Alexis started it by sending a letter to Tamra and I saying, if you don't do this, our lawyers are going to sue you tomorrow. Tomorrow, the next day. And so there was an involvement in there.
It seems like during your conversation with Alexis, the first conversation that we see, it seemed like you were almost more upset about the lawsuit than her with John. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, there were other reasons, John aside, that I don't want to pursue a friendship with her. So I wasn't going to go, and then you see, I don't know, there's a clip of her going, you're not going to win my man or something. It's like, I'm not in the competition.
Sure, yeah.
I enjoy,
Yeah, right.
But I don't know.
Yeah. Was that relationship puzzling for you? Because, like we said last season,
absolutely,
he wanted to remain private. Then, 6 weeks later, he's doing these red carpet interviews, and it almost makes me think, going back to the punishment question, of all the women he could have dated, did it almost seem like he had? I
don't know that he's with. I'm not saying he doesn't care about her, but. John is a relationship person. He's never lived alone, and he in our relationship he moved very quickly too. A couple weeks, saying we're going to spend the rest of our lives together, and that's what I thought. So that's John. He's a love bomber.
Yeah,
and
I was actually going to say,
I learned about that.
Yes.
In my therapy, and it is what it is.
It is what it is. How do you feel about their relationship now? Do you even give it any thought?
Nope,
no.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, I don't want any part of it. I don't want to be with John, and I wanted that to be clear, because if I were to even have pulled her aside to say, okay, and really you're dating my ex-boyfriend, then it looks like I am wanting him back. I am just the lawsuit is enough for me. I lost $300,000. That would be very helpful right now with 3 kids in college.
Sure.
So, and I didn't do anything wrong. I won both cases. I don't have a settlement that says, oh, she can't talk about it. I can talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I won.
Do you bring up the cease and do you find the cease and desist letter that you were saying to Alexis?
It's you'll see.
You'll see. You know, it seems like there's going to be some bombs that happen during this season. I know you can't tell me exactly what happens, but I think Alexis alludes that it could ruin your life and things like that. Did something like that come about?
I don't know.
You don't know.
It's still the threat. It's still the threat, which I think you hear the words blackmail and extortion. Like, What do you got? And if you do have something, once again, it would be from a year ago. So I'm working on myself, trying to improve. I put a very humiliating photograph of my bloody face that now will appear, but I needed to tell the story. I promised I would tell the story, and that's a part of the story. And so what is your intent with making the threat?
Yeah.
Is it to hurt me even more? You want to humiliate me? Am I going to be the David? Is it a video of me the night that I was drunk? Because that's the rumor. I admit it. Look at my blood alcohol content. I was really drunk that night. I should not have been out and driving or doing anything. So do I have a David Hasselhoff eating the hamburger video that now you want to put out there? What is that going to do except hurt me? Like, move on.
Right. Yeah. It's like what's
so I don't know what it is.
Gaining anything from that.
I have no idea, but I hear a lot about it.
You hear a lot about it.
And you know, and there's a part of you too that's like, well, what is it?
Right.
You know, that can be play with your head sometimes. Like,
yeah.
oh my God, what do they have?
Right. Yeah.
Destroy my life?
That's a big accusation.
And my therapist and I talked about this. The worst thing that has happened in my life so far is that DUI. It's the worst night of my life, and that is the worst thing. So you want to try and destroy my life, Alexis and John? Try, because I took care of that on my own with my poor choices.
What was it like seeing that? Because I think when people see that bloody shot, it's very jarring. What was it like for you to see that for the first time too?
Well, I didn't know I had taken it. I discovered it after the DUI because I had some head trauma, so I didn't remember everything. Like I kind of went unconscious that night. So I didn't even know that I had taken it. Yeah. But it was a lot for me to see. And it's like, wow, all that can happen in a snap of a finger.
Well, you said like in 10 seconds your life changed.
Yeah. Well, all these things that had never happened to me at flipping 59 years old.
Yeah.
Like, if you're like an immature teenager, you might get off by saying, I did that. Sure. No, I'm the freaking supposed responsible person at 59. Like, really horrible.
Yeah. How's Archie doing?
He's good.
He's good.
He's good.
Has he helped you through this time too?
Well, I have a man in my life, and his name is RHOC Beador, and we live together. We're taking the step.
Right, we've been exclusive for a long time.
We have.
I love to hear it.
You know, I'm single. Yeah. I don't have anyone at home, so we're traveling the country with the Shannon and Vicky show, and we have a show in New York and Philadelphia next week, July 17th and 18th at City Winery. But we are we're having fun with it, and it's a show about friendship. It's like silly fun. And I'm enjoying it because you're performing in front of people that are there to see you because they want to. And there's no drama. It's just love.
Yeah.
So
we love
having a lot of fun with that.
Good. You girls should. Are Vicky and Tamra friends anymore, or is that done too?
We pretty much no. You know, I can't speak for her, but you know, she feels a lot of this. Same things that I feel.
Did you and Tamra get into a screaming match? Did that happen?
Well, I said that she had a big ego, and which got back to her, and yes, she does. And I've said, well, you do, and I was upset with her when John first met Alexis that she was commenting on Alexis's photos. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah. And so now they're big buddies. I just
after everything that you've gone through with the lawsuit too, that's got to be hurtful.
None of it makes sense except that maybe it's just a little bit of overproduction and too much story focus.
Yeah. Do you ever foresee the two of you being friends again?
I don't. You know, I don't, because I now can look back and see pretty much every season that I've been in with Tamra. There's always an issue that she has with me. Either I did something or I didn't do something, and it's okay.
Yeah.
We don't need to be friends then. Like I walk, she says she walks on eggshells around me. I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I walked on eggshells around her. I was feeling like I had to prove to her that I was a good friend, and that's not healthy for me. And I'm making healthy choices right now.
Yeah. Did you feel like anything that she said this season was out of like friendship because she was concerned?
Well, I feel as though she said things to make it appear.
Yeah.
As though, you know, like I think she said, I said things she didn't want to hear. Oh, okay, I heard things that you said.
Yeah.
And I took them into account, and I did what I felt was best for me, and I know that that was a good choice because I know how I feel right now.
Right. You know, you said obviously you've put in so much work, and the people around you, the closest to you, know what you've done, but it seems like the women were a bit judgmental about you not getting completely sober.
But I mean, I think some people need to focus on themselves and maybe look at their relationship with alcohol sometimes. But you know, we're on a show where people give their opinions. I try not to give opinions if I don't have a factual basis to go off of, and I think that some of the girls will just say whatever they want to.
You kind of talked a bit about it a little bit, but how would you describe your relationship with alcohol now?
So what I do, if I choose to have a drink, I'll have 1 or 2 drinks, and that's kind of how it used to be. Sure. And again, if I find that it's an issue, then I will address it then. But so far, so good. You'll see me this season. When we go on trips especially, I like to go out to dinner, have a cocktail, and take a breath. And I do that, and I'm okay. So I want to be a person, I don't want to be a person that does sneak around and say, I will never drink again, and then have people looking. Like, there was a publication at BravoCon that followed me to a restaurant the first night, and someone sat there and watched everything that came to the table to report that I did only drink water that night. But, you know, I don't want that.
No.
So if someone sees me and I have a cocktail in my hand, am I walking perfectly? I will be. I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
And people will see that this season.
See that.
Yeah.
Since that happened, has anything changed with David at all? Has he been supportive?
No,
he's
still, we still don't speak.
Yeah.
And that is what it is.
That is what it is, yeah. But hey, things are good with the girls, though.
Yeah, and that's what's important.
And that's what's
That
important.
is what's important.
I did like seeing you and Gina kind of bury things a bit in the first episode. I don't know how the rest of the season plays out, but it was because it was very tough last season. But it was nice for her to show you support.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was walking into that party blind.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I mean, Emily and I had a lunch the day
Sure.
before, so I'm like, okay, pretty much okay with Emily, but I don't really know everybody else. Because I wasn't happy that Heather called me and invited Alexis. It's like, really, Heather? You know?
Yeah. Did that change your relationship with Heather at all?
No. I mean, I understand why she and Alexis are close, but yeah, I'm closer. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm closer to you and Emily as well. I'm closer to you than you are to her. But she was brought back on the show, so you got it. They had to figure it out. And I think all people in the cast were put in a difficult situation because every cast member said to me, I don't know how you're doing this because I couldn't do it.
And when I saw the casting news, I was like, oh, it's gonna be rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you first saw it, were you given the heads up?
I knew it was.
Yeah, you knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, I knew it would. So, and by the way, again, if I were a viewer, I'd want to see it too. Yeah. But there also are a lot of people that are saying, you know, that was a lot for you to go through. And I'm not looking for sympathy because I'm the one that created the situation I'm in right now. I did.
But you made it through this season.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. You're sitting here.
Season 18, check.
Check the box. We're good. After filming it, though, how did you feel? Were you like, I just need to go on a trip. I need to go to a spa.
Well, you know, it's a thing that's, you know, I think I said something like, this is my real life.
Yeah.
Meaning that sometimes if you're just kind of on the fray of story that's part of the season, you can forget it. But I still have a lawsuit that I have to put a call into my attorney, and I still have all these things going on. Now, I still have alcohol school, but I finished my community service part of my punishment, and I still volunteer at the place 2 to 3 times a week. I really enjoy it. I actually have a really good time with it.
Great.
So, you know, I'm continuing on with that, and you know, we'll see.
Yeah. How do you feel that your relationship, if there is any relationship with Alexis going, would you ever even, how does that dynamic work after this season? Or
Would you?
doesn't? No.
Okay, so you're with someone for
Right.
cumulative, a little over 4 years, and 6 weeks after you end things, you're like, am I supposed to say, let's go to dinner?
No.
Let's get on an airplane and go on a trip.
Well, and then what was the trip snafu photo thing? Did she like photoshopped herself into a picture? Was that, did I read that correctly?
Someone photoshopped her in the all cast photo,
okay,
and so
all
I
right.
was asked, "Why did you cut her out?" It's like, she's a friend. She wasn't in.
She wasn't
to start.
She wasn't in to start.
Yeah. Like I think that's about as mean as I get with her. It's like, you're a friend.
You're a friend. Well, Tamra, were you going? Tamra posted a video about saying that you liked a text message.
Okay. Can I tell you? Mm-hmm. I am so low tech. I hit buttons all the time. I have like circles on top of my text. I don't know. I delete conversations all the time. I just looked on my phone coming here. Heather texted a all cast photo to all of us. Mm-hmm. Apparently I tried to FaceTime everybody. I don't know what I hit. So I liked a text, and I don't even know how to like a text, like with the heart or the ha-ha. I don't even know how to do that. So I'm not trying to get receipts for watching Heather's live. I'm not as obsessed with you as you are with me.
Why do you feel like everybody's so obsessed with you, Shannon?
Well, no, Tamra can't stop talking about me. And then she goes, I don't need Shannon as a storyline. Okay, well, tune in. Tune in.
Tune in. What are you hoping people take away after we've been on your journey for so many years? What are you hoping after people watch this season? What do you want them to know about you?
I hope that people say, wow, okay, she's finally getting it. She's like focusing on putting her head on right, and being her best self. Yeah. And if I continue on this road, then good things come from that. I'm trying hard, and I know I can always do better, but I'm doing the best I can, and that's what I hope people take away. Like, okay, that was a really horrible situation, but she dealt with it, and she's doing what she can.
Yeah.